So when you used to get beat, did you ever think, do you really love me? Like when you
Yeah,
got punished?
as a kid, you do think like, oh my gosh, you don't really care about me, you're hurting me. But
Yeah.
as you get older, you understand a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking, why are you hitting me this hard? You must not love me if you hitting me this hard. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you go to your room, you cry like a like a punk. Like, how old are you? You're crying in your pillow. Ah!
I was lucky in the sense that my parents would always tell me like, we're doing it because we love you. And so for a while I was like, really though? I mean, this doesn't feel like love. But I don't know, they told me as many times as they could that they're doing it out of love and they're trying to raise me to be right. So in a sense, like I never really doubted it, just a little. But I said, yeah, I think they love me, you know. They're just a little rough sometimes, yeah.
You get to the point where you know you're gonna get like, you know, beat, so you try to like outthink your parents. Like I know one time I wore like 2 sweatpants because I knew I did something wrong. I was like, okay, if you're gonna actually come for me, let me at least act like it hurts. Yeah. Like one time my mom jumped off the wall and slapped me like it was a Matrix. Like my mom had hang time when she slapped me. Like I wasn't expecting that, but I don't know, man.
Were you allowed to cry?
No. They'd beat you more if you started crying.
yeah, they're just asking me why you crying. I'm just in my head like, I just stepped out and y'all whooping me. So.
It's almost like they don't want you. They don't want to feel bad about what they're doing, and then seeing you cry makes them feel bad, so they don't want you to cry. Oh man.
I think like even though like at the moment like you kind of hate it. Yeah. I mean, you're thankful for it after. At the end of the day,
like now I look back and I'm like, yeah, they had a reason.
Yeah, you don't do that stuff again. It kind of crosses your mind. You're like, yeah, I know I shouldn't have done that. So.
Did you guys ever want to run away?
In a sense, I ran away. It's more like I got kicked out, and I've been kicked out for maybe 3 months at a time. Like, I lived in my car, so.
Okay, this is when you're older. Yeah.
And like, it feels nice. Like at first, you're just like, yeah, I could do it, but then, you know, when you just want to shower and you can't, you're just like, dang, I messed up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I packed my bags and left once. I lived at a building, Islington and Finch, Rexdale, G. But yeah, lived at a building. I got in trouble. I remember I had this little small suitcase. I packed all my stuff. My parents were watching me pack it, watching TV. I went downstairs in the elevator by myself. I went to the park and I hid for like, I felt like it was like 6 hours. It was definitely like 27 minutes. Down there shook.
Oh,
I was low-key scared. I'm hearing things behind me in the woods. I'm like, oh man. I came back upstairs. And they're like, oh, I thought you were leaving. I was like,
No, yeah.
Yeah, but I left once.
I've wanted to run away. I never actually did anything successful.
Yeah, definitely. I did the same thing once. It was shameful. Like, I think my mom never even knew. That's the thing, because my mom would work. And, like, I remember I read these kids' book that you make us read sometimes. Was it a book called, like, Run McGee, something like that? You ever heard something? No. Something McGee, and the cover's like a kid running. And, like, there's all these books about adolescent kids always, like, skipping school and going on the biggest trip of their life. So I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of getting beat. I'm tired of this. I'm going on the run. I remember I packed my bag to school. Like, I was just going to school. And I went to school, and then after, I'm like, this is my time. I remember I got on the bus, and I was taking the bus, and I passed my apartment. And as I was passing the apartment, I'm like, I don't know if I'm made up for this. I come up at the next bus stop, and I walk straight home. I was like, this is not my life. I can't do that. Oh, I was soft.
Did you ever want to call the police?
I was too scared to call the police.
Yeah, my parents warned me, try it and you'll see. Like, I didn't even think of it.
Yeah, they gave me that option one time, but I already knew as a setup.
Next thing you know, you never come home again. They're like, take my kid. Like, that's how they make you feel. They're like, okay, call the police. You'll end up in like a crappy home in foster care or something like that, and you'll never see us again. And it's like, but I don't want that. So, yeah.
Were you forced to go to church?
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
my
still
entire
forced.
childhood. Yes. I am 21. I live away from them. When I go home, I'm not feeling so well. I don't care. I had a rough semester. I don't care.
Yeah.
I went to rest. No, I still have to go to church. I'm 21 then.
And for me, even though it's not like yeah, I'm out here. Like they're not at my house. Like they don't, you don't pay my rent. Oh, why can I just say that? But I still, like, if I don't go to church, I still have to, like, tune in and watch a sermon or have, like, a prayer session. Like, it's still, like, I have to do something. Like, I have to.
No. I'm Muslim.
Okay, so were you forced to go to a mosque?
When I'm back home, as in Africa or France, I'm forced to pray and go to a mosque. But like when I'm home in America, I'm usually working or I'm just out, so there's no time.
100%.
And it was so funny. I remember my bro, I guess because he started being rebellious, like, we're like 7 years apart, but he started doing it when he was like 14, 15. When he started feeling like he should, like when we started getting to high school, so maybe I should not go sometimes. I just never forget how in our room, with this giant mirror, and like, it was like, my mom was Sabbath school goer, so we left early. And it was like 9:30. I was like, hey, let's go. And my bro was just lying in his bed. I said, let's go. He's like, no, I'm not going. She went, grabbed the belt, and she came at him. And I was like, shoot. I don't want to see this guy get the connect. So I turned around, but the mirror was there, and I seen the connect, and like he was crying, and I'm just like looking at the mirror, and I was like, I was dying. I'm like, oh, my mom doesn't see me laughing, but I just see my bro through the mirror, and I was dying. So yeah, we were forced. Not going to church was not an option.
Yeah, for me, it was like I was forced up until, let's say, high school.
Yes, I'm a pastor's kid, so yes.
One time I didn't go. Then my parents came home after, because my parents, like, they used to stay at church till like 6. Like, they'll go at 9:45, come home at 6. Like, I was exhausted, so I was like, you know what, I'll just start driving. One time I didn't go, and one time I told them straight up I didn't go, and they were like, okay. The next week I tried to take the car, they're like, no. So I went to church that following week, and the next time I tried that, I just told them I went to a different church.
No, that's true.
Wait, so even as a kid, like, you weren't forced to go?
No, because like my mom's more religious than my dad. But my mom's like more Islamic faith, and my dad's more, he was Islamic, but now like he kind of going towards Christianity, but still like one of those Christians that really don't go to church or do anything. So
how early did you guys used to go to church?
Sabbath school.
My dad had the keys.
My dad had the keys.
First elder.
Why did my dad have keys to the church and he wasn't even head deacon?
My dad was first elder. My mom was head deaconess. Okay.
If like you want to go out on Friday,
No, I could never go.
you can't. Well, besides the fact of like, even if I snuck out, like, I'm like, hey, I can't not go to church in the morning. Oh yeah, it's bad. It was bad. I was a bad you. Like, I was like, but like, yeah, if I snuck out, I knew for a fact, no matter how long, I'm like, man, you better be ready, because at 8 a.m. your mom waking you up, no matter what it is, I'm being woken up at that time. So it was rough.
Like now, I set up my music, headed to the shower, like I have my whole like regimen going on. And
no setup.
8:05, the next person's in. 8:10, the next person's in. 8:15, the next person. Like it's all. Watch. Grab your banana. If you even, head in the car. We out.
Grab your banana.
Yeah. No, my dad would buy bananas Friday, so we have breakfast.
I'm so
Saturday morning.
But I think about it now, the way we used to like. Because, like you said, like the regimen that I have now to get ready for church on Sabbath mornings.
It's long.
I would always get leave back then. I would always get leave. If I had to do what I have to do now, I would always get leave. This one time, oh my gosh, I got left, okay, because this is when your girl really started, you know, with the eyeliner and makeup. And I had my weave, so you know, I had to curl it. And I didn't wake up early enough. My dad was already at church, first elder. And then I heard the garage, and I said, it's fine. I still have like a minute before she actually gets in the car, collects herself. But then
30 seconds.
I didn't hear anything else. So guys, that was the garage door closing. I missed it opening. Okay.
It's hard because like you know you're going to church, but you're not leaving when church is done.
Yeah.
You're leaving when the adults are.
All your homies leave too.
And you're just
everyone
there
leaves.
kicking rocks.
But the thing too is we used to go to church before church even started.
Yeah.
So like Sabbath school started at 9:30. There was like song service from 9 to 9:30.
I'm like, why is this another school day? Like, why is this worse than school?
Worse. Just come like at 7 p.m. p.m. Oh my.
Did they ever ask you like, how come you're more you're never late for school but late for
They
church?
always drop out. You ever leave for class? I'm like, I am. I am sometimes. They just allow me.
That is it. Because, you know,
Late for school? Nah.
Or when they would have like board meetings after
Oh.
church.
oh, no.
Oh my gosh, that used to hurt my soul.
One thing
Especially
I
if there was no food that day.
Yeah,
Sometimes
that's
there's
what
no
I was about to
food.
say.
Sometimes there's no food.
The only thing about our church, someone always had jollof in the car or some next type of food, so you're always nice. But
No, some of those days with no food. Like, you're there, I'm like, I just passed 2 meals and there's no food yet? How's that possible?
it's crazy.
That's messed
I
up.
feel like every Saturday was fasting for some people.
Yeah, that's messed
Because
up.
you wouldn't get time to eat breakfast. You're
Honestly,
rushing out the house.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm
And you're
going
like, oh,
hours.
potluck, no potluck. Yeah, like,
Hours with no food.
How do you feel about church now that you're older?
I feel like the relationship with God's more important than church itself. I feel like you should still make an effort to go, just because when you're fellowshipping with a bunch of people and stuff, you know, you're worshiping together. That's kind of how God wanted us to do it. But you know, being in Lacombe, it's a little tough because not every week is, you know. Sometimes you go, you're like, oh man. So I try to find little things, like I've started some worships here, there with some friends and stuff, different things to kind of still have that fellowship aspect. But I love church still.
when two or more are gathered.
That's it. There he is, King James.
Okay, still consider I'm still a Christian, you know, like all is good. I like going to church, certain churches more than others. And I'm just at a point.
College Heights.
But for me, I think a lot of times when I feel forced to do something, I just don't want to do it. And so as I'm getting older, I just like the opportunity to sometimes stay home, sometimes go to church. Like I don't like the whole like you miss church twice and oh, what's happening to so and so? Are they not of the faith anymore? Like relax, I was tired. Like
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I just like going, you know, and.
How I feel about church is like, okay, especially being out here in Lacombe and College Heights, okay, I have to really be in the spirit because I know I'm gonna go in and 7 times out of 10 my spirit's gonna come down.
Mm-hmm.
Not because there's anything wrong with how they do it, but it's not how I'm used to church. Like I'm used to going to church and you're on such a spiritual high, like even when the sun is down, y'all are still doing something churchy, you know? Out here by 1:15, like we already watching movies and going out to Red Deer, like everything, it's just done. So I'm like, I really cherish like the days where it's like restoration or those big things that like, it's actually so spiritually charged. But when it's regular church, I'm like, I can go to church and I'll go home and I'll be like, let me watch a sermon at Oakwood because I missed something. I really needed the spirit today. Let me get it back. And yeah, I just miss I hated church all day. I hated it. But now that I don't have it, I miss it. And like, guys, like AY, like the socials after the games night, the like we had citywide games night, so like West Church would come, like North Church would come, like
Those were lit cuss, man.
and now it's like
Domino's and Caribbean churches.
go home and you don't know nobody, like it's so
I
sad.
think you forgot to mention that we go to a predominantly Caucasian church.
Yeah.
And we all came from black churches.
You don't know where it came from.
You don't know where you came.
For me, it's hard, but like you just gotta keep it going. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Yeah.
For me, when I go to church now, like Eulaine say, College Heights, I have to actually mentally prepare myself for church from Wednesday. Okay, you're going to College Heights.
I take
Like you know, for me personally, like if it's a regular Sabbath, I actually have to mentally prepare myself. Okay, you're not going there to like receive something. You're going there to give something to somebody. Maybe like your presence there might help somebody. So like that's why you're going to church. You're not going there to something.
Sabbath school coordinator. Sabbath school coordinator. Hey girl, let them know she coordinates Sabbath school, y'all.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of conflicted because I'm supposed to be like a theology major and I'm supposed to eventually work at a church. But especially with growing up, having to go to church and being forced to go to church, not necessarily like that I regret that or I hate that I was, but like kind of what Kujo's saying, like, the relationship with God is way more important. And sometimes I don't like going to church, but I love spending time with people I care about more than anything. And that's what gives me rest. So like, I feel like going to church is not what necessarily keeping the Sabbath or what the Sabbath's about or whatever, but I do understand the reason of church, like having everyone come together, gather, and worship. But I feel like sometimes we don't necessarily are always executing that.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for me to be like, oh, I can't wait to go to church, but I love saying like, I can't wait to spend time with people I love and care about on the Sabbath. That's what I love. I love potluck. I love spending time, chopping it up, talking about stuff. That's what keeps me going about Sabbath. But like going to church necessarily is not like my top of my list.
And like you keep in mind, because like when we were younger, it's like our parents are telling us we have no other option. But now you have like a variety of options. You have the choice. You can make. You are the one making your decisions.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about going to the mosque every week, but every time there's like Ramadan, which is in the summer, there's always like, it's always nice to go. It's not like, like a church where there's a pastor and he's like giving you sermons, telling you things out of the Bible. It's really, we're all praying as one whole group, like the women and the guys are separated, and we pray as one whole group. So it's like, it's kind of like if you've seen a marching band, like we move simultaneously, like it's nice, and
honestly, yeah.
and everyone's
It must be
just
so satisfying to watch.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember one time we were in Africa and we had to do it in the streets, and it was just this half of the street was guys, this half of the street was girls. It was just everybody at once was doing it, and I like going to the holidays because like you will see Asian like Islamic people to like Caucasian Islamic people to black Islamic people. Like it's not just like one sort of race. So like at the end, like during Ramadan, like sundown comes, you can eat, and you'll just see all the different denominations of food and everything, and people talk, and people are real giving. Like that's one thing about the Islamic community; it's always giving to its people.
Now I've grown in my spirituality and like comfortable in who I am and how my relationship with God is growing and the pace that I'm going at. So when I say yes to do something related to the church, I'm saying yes because I genuinely want to, and my spirituality has grown to that level. Before it was just kind of like we're going to church.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go be with my friends, woohoo. But then I got to be at church like 6 extra hours because of board meeting or whatever. Whereas now it's like, I wish I could stay at church longer because I'm just more in touch with my spirituality.
Yeah, as a kid I dreaded it, but because now I know who my God is, like I want to be with him all day long, and it's like, where's that at?
Yeah. That's one thing I miss about home. Like, if I was at church all day at home now, in my current mental state, my spiritual state, I would totally like be like, where else am I gonna be?
Yeah. To be honest though, I actually like, in some ways, church here than back home. Of course you do. But okay, why? Because I just feel like I left, came back, and it's still the same. And like, in that sense, I get that. And it's like, y'all didn't change up the praise team. Like, y'all didn't see that the voices weren't working. So that's why sometimes I end up going to like, not my home church, I end up going to like a different church.
I don't go to my home church either.
Because it's just like, I feel, and it's also less stress going to another church.
Yeah, that's true, man. No responsibilities. Nobody knows you. You sit in the pew, you get up, and
exactly. And it's like, the first time I go back to my home church, I have to go there like the last week because then I can tell people, oh, I can't do that because I'm yes. If I go there from the start, it's like, oh, can you do children's story? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm like, no, fam, I just want.
People like, I'm a visitor. You get asked on site, like, oh, our scripture didn't show up, but since you're back,
this is your whole praise and worship. This is your. I walk in, they're like, so can you lead? Not even can I be a part of the praise. Can I lead the praise and worship? Are you mad? I literally just walked in, and in most cases, my first Sabbath, I drove that Sabbath. Like, I literally just came off the highway.
I kind of like being involved in like church and stuff like that. So I kind of miss it being here. Like, I'm not involved and stuff, but at the same time, don't talk to me. I just reached back from school. So,
but like, I'm hearing like you guys talking about all these things people asking you to do things. Like for me, it was more or less opposite. I go home and like people are like, oh, can you do this, that, and the third? They're looking at my mom and like, oh, you have a second child? You have a first? Because my brother is the one they know. My brother is singing. He's a part of the choir. He's part of AY committee. He's part of AV committee. He's a part of a whole bunch of things.
So you got any older brothers?
And so they're like seeing him and all these things that he's doing, and they completely forget that she has a first child. And so like I come in, they're like, oh, how was school? How was it from the third? Oh, you have a man? Oh, you're getting big. All these questions, but they never ask me to do things. And so I'm not mad. Granted. I get here and I'm doing all these things now. And I enjoy it because it's on my turf. It's nobody telling me, here, do it.
Yeah,
true. Because
it's like they're waiting for me. And it's like at the door.
I was waiting for you at the door.
And it's like, I just got here. Can you ask me how my semester was? Like,
Like, I failed the class, bro. Ask me about that.
Pause. Hold on. Don't ask me about how school went. Because every time this. Listen, let me tell you, this is how the questions go. Oh, wow, what are your grades? Did you find a man?
Oh.
When are you graduating? Can you do praise and worship?
Okay, no, girl. No. This is it. Oh. Well, why are you getting so fluffy? Black people, announcement, black people
Not in charge.
asking me why am I getting so fat or about my weight. It's not a greeting, please. It's not a greeting, okay, guys?
No, but wait. Make the mistake to let you sit beside your mom. Your friend
Sit beside you.
Hey! And your friend starts talking to you.
Girl.
And then you leave and you go home and your legs all pissed up.
Oh my god.
It's pissed up because your friend is dumb. And they didn't get the message. They didn't see you.